Honestly, yeah, just I'm gonna knock him out. You know, he has a lot of flaws in his defense, and I'm gonna expose him. You know, look what a 135 Lamont Roach did to him, and it's just gonna be so much fun for me. I'm so glad that God gave me this moment. I'm Gervonta Tank Davis's karmic retribution.
What are you talking about, fam?
How do you win this fight?
That outfit is trash. For real. That outfit is garbage. And that hairstyle. Anybody that ever rocked a mohawk is a fucking clown. We all know this. Anybody rocked a mohawk. Name
You
them.
want to see clowns? You want to see clowns? Gervonta, you're the fucking clown, buddy. You're the.
So you're not concerned that a loss to Jake Paul would mean anything to you at all? It doesn't stop
Nah.
anything?
Why should I?
Got you.
He's gonna still have his poodle after the loss.
It all started with a few playful call-outs, but now Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are going at it like never before. The insults are flying, tempers are boiling, and both men are determined to prove who's really the king of the fight game. This feud isn't just for show, it's getting real fast.
Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him. Bet.
And
Nothing?
It begs the question, Tank.
Nothing?
It begs the question, Tank.
Nothing?
Jake didn't waste a second before turning the press conference into his own show. He kept his cool, but made sure every word hit like a jab. He called Gervonta too emotional, said he gets lost in his own head, and even hinted that his speed won't save him this time. The crowd could feel the tension build as Jake leaned in, throwing little digs about defense holes and experience. You could tell he wanted to get under Tank's skin, and honestly, it was working.
And to Jake Paul, the same question to you. What makes you think that you can stop Tank Davis with your lack of experience in the ring?
Yeah, he's an emotional fighter. He gets upset easily. He's no matter what he does, he's going.
You're not a real fighter.
He's going to underestimate me. Bro, you took a knee in the last fight. You should have got 2 points taken off,
He's
bro.
not even listening.
You're always in your head. Like, at the end of the day, he thinks that the speed is going to make a difference. It's not. He has a lot of holes in his defense. No one has ever pressed him.
You
like
shouldn't
I'm
put
gonna
a
press him.
fighter on.
And you're going to see me knock this guy
That's
out.
how I know you're not a real fighter.
Jake couldn't help himself and started teasing Tank about his mohawk, cracking jokes like he was just trying to get under his skin. Then he pointed at Tank's tattoo and called him a dumbass for having his own name on his forehead. That's when Tank stepped in, calm but sharp, saying it wasn't his name at all, it was his kids' names. The room got quiet for a second after that, and Jake didn't have much to say.
Considering that,
Gervonta.
what happened?
Gervonta.
Tank.
You got a mohawk, bro. Chill.
Gervonta.
You got a mohawk. Always remember that. You got a mohawk.
You tattooed your fucking name on your forehead so you wouldn't forget, you dumbass.
That's not my name, dumbass. That's my daughter name, dumbass. And my son name, dumbass. And again, you got a mohawk. You're a fucking clown.
All right, Tank.
When the talk shifted to whether this was Jake's toughest challenge, he played it up, saying Tank's exactly the kind of fighter everyone said he'd never face. He spoke like a man on a mission, talking about taking risks and proving he belongs with the real pros. The whole room could tell this was bigger than just another call out for him.
And for Jake, is this the biggest, toughest challenge of your career?
Yeah, 100%. This is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. You know, there's been a lot of criticism on fight a pro boxer, fight someone your age, all this stuff. And Tank has stepped up to the plate. He said it in a podcast. He said, I'm the guy. I'm the guy to beat him, for him to fight a pro boxer, for him to fight someone his own age. So here we are. This is definitely the toughest test.
Just when things started to cool off, the tension spiked again. Someone tried to compliment Jake, but Tank wasn't having it. The way he cut in, you could feel that competitive fire flare up. Jake brushed off the talk about critics saying he'd be fighting a smaller man, and for once, his tone shifted from cocky to steady.
To tell this man what he's doing for boxing and putting it on the map, and just want to take my hat off to you.
Get the mic from him.
So,
get the mic from him, for real.
what I want to say is, if you beat Tank, you know, and people are going to say you beat a smaller man. So what's the victory here?
Man, honestly, people always have something to say. It's old news. Keep talking. At the end of the day, you're here. So whatever anyone has to say, just keep on saying it, please. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all.
He tells him he's been doing everything wrong his whole career, that he fights scared and hides behind speed. Then he brings up that last fight, saying Tank folded when it got tough. He keeps his tone light, but every line is a little more personal, like he's testing how far he can go.
This guy who's been doing it his whole life has been doing it wrong his whole life.
What'd you say, Tank?
He said he gonna outbox me. Whoop-de-doo.
The one thing, when you have a fight of this magnitude, especially with Jake, because his appeal has been global, for you, Tank, do you think this is one of those fights where now all of a sudden you can show your boxing skills on a global scale to maybe people who weren't interested in boxing? All of a sudden they say, well, who is this guy?
Yeah, it's actually like, now that I'm looking at it now, it's just like, I don't know, probably this was a good thing, by just, us fighting. Because you have someone that, we come from two different sides, like, of the world.
Tank tells Jake he's talking too much for someone who's still learning how to box, says he's fighting names, not real fights. He reminds him that fame can't help him when the bell rings, and that he's never faced anyone who actually hits back. Jake tries to cut in, but Tank keeps going, slow and calm, just letting it sink in.
We come from, and we still on the same path to get the same thing, So I think it's good. My headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me. Again, this fight gonna be exciting. I feel as though it's gonna be it's gonna do a lot of numbers.
Jake talks up his camp like he already owns the plan. Lots of punching down, drilling speed, steady sparring with heavy partners, and a swagger that says he expects to finish it early, even tossing out a raw threat for good measure. But Tank, being himself, doesn't hold back at all, and replies in his signature method, speaking all over Jake.
For something like this, obviously smaller guy, how is this in the training aspect, Jake?
Yeah, just a lot of punching down, practicing, hitting below my knees, and a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm gonna beat Jaden Love ass. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass. On my mama. And he laughing.
Trash talk had everyone hyped, but just when things were heating up, everything took an unexpected turn. Out of nowhere, a clip from Showbiz The Adult dropped, breaking news that Jake Paul might actually be searching for a new opponent. The timing couldn't have been wilder. While fans were still replaying the back and forth between Jake and Tank, the report claimed Gervonta was facing new legal trouble, the kind that could put the whole fight on hold.
I just saw this here, thanks to my agent Neville, who sent me this. Chris Mannix, love you, boy. That was my brother. He posted that Jake Paul is looking for a replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis for their fight on Friday, November 14th. Because I'm not sure if you guys know, Gervonta Tank Davis and the DV allegations, the new one that just it was just covered yesterday as breaking news for Gervonta and the situation.
Showbiz explained that the situation had just surfaced, tied to a civil suit involving a woman who worked at a club. He didn't dig too deep, but he made it clear this wasn't something the fight world could ignore. According to him, Jake's team was already considering replacements, just in case things went south before November 14th.
You guys can look into it. I didn't, you know me, I don't really speak about stuff outside the ring, but now I have to since it affects the ring, okay, and what happens in the ring. The fight may be canceled. It's a civil suit from my understanding, and I don't want to, confuse you guys or misinform you guys. I didn't look into it much, But from my understanding, it's a civil suit. It probably could turn into worse. A woman who is a waitress at a club. So I don't know all the details. You guys to check the details, but Jake Paul is looking for a replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis.
Then came the Wade Concepts reaction to the whole situation, which carried a mix of disbelief and frustration. As Wade began unpacking the story, he pointed out that Jake had actually been putting in serious work. He mentioned Jake's training sessions with legit pros and how that had started to shift public perception of the fight. You could sense that Wade was warming up to the matchup, not because he thought Jake would win easily, but because he saw Jake treating it like a real competition.
Jake takes these fights very seriously, and I just thought, okay, this is gonna get a little more interesting than I previously thought. I thought it would be a bit of a mismatch, a bit of a, boxing experience to Gervonta Davis, Jake bringing the size and power, and we're gonna get one of these stalemates where no one wants to take a real risk, and both guys are gonna get paid. Turns out no guy may get paid, or Gervonta Davis might be kicked off the card because we have a new, not champion, a new domestic violence abuse allegation against Gervonta.
He didn't go into unnecessary detail about Davis right away. Instead, he paused to process what this meant for everyone involved. You could hear the disbelief in how he spoke about it being another case. Not the first, not even the second, and that repetition alone seemed to bother him more than anything. He framed it less like a news update and more like a pattern that boxing couldn't seem to shake off.
There's been a lot of allegations against Tank, and some of those have been dropped, others have not really been pursued, and you don't really know what's what behind the scenes with people, but when things like this happen over and over, I think this is his fourth or maybe fifth allegation of domestic abuse, you kind of start to have to look at the person that's being accused of such and go, why do you keep ending up?
Wade wasn't trying to defend or accuse anyone. He was reflecting on the cycle that always seems to follow certain fighters. The way he talked about it, it felt like he was asking why some athletes keep landing in the same headlines, no matter how many chances they get. It wasn't anger, it was more disappointment towards wasted potential.
In these situations, and the way it's described, we've even seen Tank do some of the things already on camera, but let's get into this thing, and then we'll just go right into the report from Chris Mannix here. Shout out Mannix. Obviously, you guys know him as a commentator with DAZN, covers boxing, covers basketball as well for SI. Chris Mannix on Twitter says, Netflix and reps for Jake Paul have been exploring potential replacements for Gervonta Davis. Sources familiar with the situation told SI Now. Paul Davis, scheduled for November 14th, is in limbo after new allegations of domestic violence against Gervonta Davis. I was in the car. I didn't know if this was real, but I had seen a report, and this came out, I think on October, it came out a couple days ago, but it was from October 27th, and there was a civil suit over domestic allegations just 2 weeks ahead of this fight. This is from Andreas Hale, our guy over at ESPN.
Now, among the replacements we've talked about, one name started spreading fast, and it was none other than Ryan Garcia. The idea blew up online, with fans thinking this might actually be the matchup to save the card. But Oscar De La Hoya shut that talk down almost instantly. He made it clear the fight isn't happening, and it all comes down to business. Oscar explained that Ryan fights under Golden Boy Promotions, which has an exclusive deal with DAZN, while Jake Paul is locked in with Netflix. That alone makes the matchup impossible. He said people might think it's about blocking Ryan or stopping him from making money, but it's really just about respecting contracts. You have a deal with DAZN, and Jake has one with Netflix. That's just how it is, he said firmly. Oscar also mentioned that fans need to wait for official updates from him, not social media. He said Ryan's next fight, who he's facing, and when, will be announced directly by Golden Boy. With that, the rumors about Jake Paul versus Ryan Garcia were officially put to rest.
What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. So I wake up to calls from reporters asking me about Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. Let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way. So anyway, until next time, we'll see you Saturday. or Virgil Ortiz. But again, Ryan Garcia's next fight will be announced by me, who he's fighting, and when he's fighting next. See you guys.
Even though the trash talk between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis is still going full swing, things behind the scenes seem messy. One moment they're throwing jabs at each other, and the next there's talk of legal trouble and possible replacements. Fans are confused, wondering if all this drama is real or just another build-up for attention. At this point, no one really knows what's going to happen. Will the fight go on as planned, or will something else take its place? The tension's real, the hype is high, and the clock is ticking. Let us know what you think in the comments below.